What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the No Fun League. Today, we're going to talk about the Club World Cup. It is a first of its kind tournament that's starting in the United States in 2 days on June 14th. There's going to be 32 club teams involved. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and recent Champions League winners PSG are all going to be a part of it, which is going to be awesome. It'll be played across 11 cities in the United States in a brand new revamped tournament format to make it a lot more like the Country World Cup rather than what it was before. And there will be over $1 billion in prize money. So let's get into, where are the teams from, where are the matches going to be played, controversies that are emerging from it, and overall what it's going to look like. So, like I said, 11 cities across the United States: Atlanta, Charlotte, Cincinnati, LA, Miami, Nashville, New Jersey, Orlando, Philadelphia, Seattle, and Washington, D.C. So, very good spread across the country. Now, obviously, the coasts get a lot more attention. The center of the country outside of Cincinnati is kind of not getting any love. It would be really cool if Chicago could get a few games, but not this year, I guess. Um, $1 billion in prize money is going to be given, which is pretty awesome. I think it's really cool for some of the smaller teams involved, where you're getting $2 million for each game that you win in the group stage. It's going to start off with, as the FIFA World Cup did, you have 4 teams per group, so 8 groups of 4 teams each, 32 teams total. And you'll play each team in your group once. The teams with the top 2 records in each group will advance. And then it's just a knockout round from then. There are bonuses for each team for winning every game, getting to the round of 16, the quarterfinals, so on and so forth. The team that wins the finals will get $40 million. That is a lot of money. Even teams like Bayern Munich want that money badly, and they're one of the biggest brands on earth because that's like 1 to 2 more players that you can probably go out and sign with that sort of money, since there's no salary cap in soccer. We have 12 teams from Europe, 6 teams from South America, 5 teams from North America, 4 teams from Asia, 4 teams from Africa, and 1 team from Oceania. Shout out Auckland City FC, which turns out half of their players are like part-time players. They're a semi-pro team, but they made it to the Club World Cup. That's pretty fucking cool. Obviously no international tournament would be free from controversy. We have, the players' unions in England and France have sued, or not sued, but they have raised complaints about the workload that their players will have to go through since the European season just got over. It runs from August to May. It is very long, very grueling. It just got done. They're not getting a lot of a break. Next year, they'll be playing in the World Cup, and so on and so forth, with all of these tournaments expanding because, well, money. So they have argued that under EU laws, they are being overworked and it's illegal. And FIFA Pro, which is the global union for soccer players, has actually raised a complaint against the European, or with the European Commission, against FIFA for this. FIFA is obviously arguing that, like, oh, we already agreed to this, you guys agreed to this, so on and so forth. But it is obviously a very controversial topic, given that players' workloads have been a talking point in soccer since the 2022 World Cup, which happened in the middle of the European soccer season. And also, it is in the United States. Donald Trump is currently president. There is a travel ban that impacts people, that impacts athletes. Now, there's a special provision because of the World Cup and other tournaments being held. But at the same time, you have fans from all over the world that would want to come to an event like this that will not be able to come because of the travel ban and nothing's been specified. We've also been told that ICE is going to be doing security at all of these games this year, and they've told non-citizens to bring their papers. Soccer isn't a big sport in the United States of America. Obviously, fans will go. The tickets are, we'll talk about the ticket prices in a second. Obviously, fans are going to go. But this is an international event, and when you have a travel ban and when you're already like treating the non-citizens like criminals a little bit just because they're showing up and they aren't citizens, if ICE is going to be doing security, that means these checks are going to take longer. There's going to be issues coming up, given how ICE has been behaving. Some people will get singled out, things of that nature. It's going to take forever, and I don't know if the logistics will be able to handle it. I don't know how long the lines will be, and if people will end up missing like entire first halves of games. Quite honestly, as currently it looks to be going how it's going to work, it might be a shit show, which sucks. But I said we would talk about ticket sales. FIFA decided to use a dynamic pricing model with Ticketmaster this year, where depending on which games have more hype, the prices will go up, and if a game is not as exciting and people don't want to go, the prices will go down, which is an interesting theory. Um, kind of price gouging in some ways with like more exciting games, but it also kind of makes sense because obviously someone will be willing to pay a lot more money for PSG versus Atletico Madrid versus Bayern Munich versus Auckland City FC. Shout out to the plumbers, though. Real Madrid is currently the only team that sold out their first game. Now, that's also because, Kylian Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, Winnie Jr., they have so many stars. They have stars on stars on stars. They sold out their first game. No other team that is participating in the Club World Cup has sold out their first game, which is insane because it's a lot of soccer rich countries, a lot of foreign countries that are nearby, Mexico, Brazil. They're not doing that, which is insane. In fact, last week, The Athletic reported that the first game between Inter Miami and the Egyptian club Al Ahly had sold less than 20,000 seats in Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, which can hold 65,000. That would be deeply embarrassing for FIFA and their new venture. Like, this has been Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA. It's been his dream to relaunch and revamp this Club World Cup. And if in the first game you have 45,000 empty seats in that stadium, that's going to look really bad, especially because it's in Miami. It's featuring the Miami team, and it has Lionel Messi involved. He is maybe the greatest soccer player of all time, and they can't sell enough seats for people to go watch him play. In fact, The Athletic reported today, on Thursday, June 12th, that Miami-Dade College, a college in Miami, obviously, that has partnered with FIFA to get, their students more access to internships and things of that nature, work together putting on these events. FIFA is currently offering them a deal that if a student buys a $120 student ticket, they will get 4 tickets for free, which prices out to $4 per ticket to go see Messi play in a FIFA like global tournament game. That is how desperate they are to sell these tickets. And obviously the Club World Cup does not have anywhere close to the hype or legitimacy of a FIFA Country World Cup. It low-key feels like an NBA in-season tournament type of deal, but this is the second dry run for the US as a whole of hosting a global tournament. Last year they hosted Copa America, and it was an objectively a disaster. The pitch conditions everywhere were bad. MetLife Stadium, obviously, like if you're a football fan, you know that MetLife Stadium's turf sucks. They didn't change it. Now they put in grass. Thank God. Please let the football players play on glass as well. But logistics were very bad. Just in New Jersey as a whole, there's no direct line between Penn Station and MetLife Stadium. So people have to transition through Secaucus Station. Parking obviously is a mess. Some people have rental cars. A lot of these people are from other countries that are just traveling. They would like to take the train. Um, Logistics everywhere in the country were a pretty bad bet. And then on top of that, you had the final in Miami last year, and it got overran. Security did not know what they were doing. There are people running around the stadium. The final was delayed for hours. Um, this is the second dry run where America can really prove itself that they have figured their shit out in the last year and they know what they're doing. Unfortunately, the people in charge of putting on these tournaments and making sure that everything is running up to date currently in this presidential administration might not be the most competent people. Unfortunately, JD Vance is like in charge of like World Cup preparations for next year. I think we can all agree that JD Vance should not be in charge of anything close to being important in this country. Um so it's going to be very interesting. This was just a little primer as to what's happening because a lot of people just don't know that this is happening in general. If you live in any of these cities, go check out a game, see how it is. It should be fun. It should be very good soccer. At the end of the day, with ticket sales, politics, all of that aside, this is a very cool initiative by FIFA. It should be very good soccer, and I think, at least for me personally, it gives me something to watch once the finals are over for basketball, which will be fun. But this is just a little primer. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.